Nope. No. Okay, Klaus. Nope, I'm not doing that either. I don't care what the World Economic Forum has to say about it. Klaus, Schwab, the WEF, and all their little minions can kiss my ass. There are just some things I'm not going to fucking do. And as a freedom-loving American or Canadian, you shouldn't either. Welcome back to Renegade News. If you haven't already, smash those subscribe and notification buttons, and let's get right into it. As you know, every year in Davos, Switzerland, Klaus Schwab, or as many of us like to call him Satan Claus, holds his World Economic Forum. And every year, the level of bullshit coming out of him and his sycophants as to how we're going to have to live our lives in the future gets even more extreme. But this year, these guys aren't even hiding us. They're hitting us full force with every draconian idea that they can possibly imagine. And they seem to be getting more creative all the time. When Iron Man himself, Robert Downey Jr., announces his 2 new venture capital funds at WEF's virtual Davos meeting. According to Downey Jr., the Footprint Coalition is a group of investors, donors, and storytellers who are committed to backing the technology needed to restore our planet. The fund puts money into sustainability-focused company, creates educational, environmental content, and makes charitable donations to nonprofits. One of those investments is Ynsect, which is building the world's largest insect farm in France. And yes, it's an insect farm growing bugs for you to eat. Currently, they're hawking a protein powder made entirely from little creepy crawlies.
That's an insect-based premium protein. It's made from molitor, which is mealworm larvae. The company is called Ynsect. This is infras. This is for fertilizer. Mm-hmm. And as you have there, this is a powder derived from the mealworm, and it's a insect protein just been approved by the EU for human consumption.
You're not just getting me to eat dirt.
Of course, young Robert isn't alone in his endeavors. The UK government has sent Black Soldier Fly Farm $12.9 million, and Small Giant Crackers have launched their savory cricket flour because, as co-founder Francisco Meno says, the overconsumption of meat and dairy products is no longer sustainable. Also, Angelina Jolie has been pushing bug eating for several years now, including scorpions and tarantulas. But at least she puts her money where her mouth is. I doubt Satan Claus will be wolfing down crickets anytime soon. Well, you can have my share, Angelina, because I'm not eating your fucking bugs. Speaking of disgusting shit that the WEF wants us to eat, it seems that while the attendees of these prestigious events go on devouring their high-end steak and lobster dinner, fake meat is high on the menu for the rest of us. WEF lover Bill Gates is especially fond of pushing Beyond Meats and Impossible Foods, 2 companies that he of course owns massive shares in. According to Bill, you can get used to the taste difference, and they claim that they're going to make it taste even better over time. Not that I really suspect he cares, since even if his wet dream of the West switching to 100% synthetic beef comes true, he can just hop on his private jets and indulge in the real thing anytime he wants. Now, the WEF itself isn't quite as brand specific, but they want you sold on the idea of a 3D printed steak. And it's not just those cuts. According to company CEO Eshar Ben Shitret, we can do the entire cow, not just one part of the cow. MSN says that Bill Gates wants us to eat 100% synthetic beef. And they also say he has a point. Well, I have one point to add. I'm not eating your fake fucking meat. But of course, our buddy Schwab doesn't just want to tell us what goes into our bodies, but also how we can let it come out. Because apparently now, men standing up to pee is considered offensive. In fact, there's a brand new device that sold millions of units that shames men who are standing to pee, using the voice of the German Chancellor and former WEF speaker, Gerhard Schroeder, declaring, "Hey, stand peeing is not allowed here and will be punished with fines. So if you don't want any trouble, you best sit down." Germany appears to be a hotbed of the war against men standing while draining the main vein. But at least a recent court case has declared that it is still legal. And no, I am not kidding. A judge in Germany has ruled that while someone who still practices the previously dominant custom is regularly confronted with significant disputes, particularly with female cohabitants, but despite the increasing domestication of men in this area, urinating while standing up is indeed still common practice. But that hasn't stopped publications like Femoid trying to push men to sit down. According to Femoid, not every man is able to pee standing up. It's time for men to take a seat on the throne to create a more inclusive environment in men's rooms. So now standing up is offensive to trans males, and the author decided that it was important to list 30 reasons why men should be domesticated and sit down to pee. Well, guess what, ladies? I'm not a dog, and I'm not being fucking domesticated, and I'm certainly not fucking sitting down to take a fucking piss. Besides, Femoid thinks that I'm an awful person anyway, and agrees with the WEF on at least one other thing. How do I know that? Because they said so. According to the absolutely absurd, brain-dead, feminist liberal rag, anti-chippers are the latest group of awful people we now have to worry about. They're paranoid, don't believe in science, and many have white supremacist tendencies. They say that the coronavirus pandemic has the world's most brilliant minds scrambling to find treatments, vaccines, and ways to improve public health going forward. One such savior is Bill Gates, the child-loving philanthropist who founded Microsoft. His proposal is to put a teeny tiny piece of silicon under everyone's skin to improve people's lives by reducing healthcare costs and keeping track of everyone deemed unhealthy by medical professionals. Now, what could possibly be bad? Okay, now while Bill's cozy relationship with Jeffrey Epstein makes me wonder if he really isn't a child lover, if being an anti-chipper makes me an awful person, I embrace it lovingly. Good old Satan Claus has long been pushing his transhumanism, chip implanting agenda and says that the fourth industrial revolution provides the potential to robotize humans and thus compromise our traditional sources of meaning, work, community, family, and identity. He says it will lift humanity into a new collective and moral consciousness. He also thinks it will help us intrude into the hitherto private space of our minds, reading our thoughts and influencing our behavior, so we can implement a Minority Report style of pre-crime program. Well, guess what, Klaus? I ain't injecting one of your fucking microchips, no matter how awful a person that makes me. But never fret. While the Davos disciples want to give us something in the form of chips to implant under our skin, they also want to take something else away the real men instinctively embrace. Namely, our right to private property. And they're not even hiding it. According to their website and a series of really well-circulated advertisements, by 2030, you'll own nothing. And you'll be happy about it. Klaus and his minions plan to abolish private property over the next decade, forcing everyone to rent everything from homes to cars to clothing. After all, like Danish activist Ida Alken says, she envisions a world where I own nothing, I have no privacy, and life has never been better. Well, guess what, Klaus? You're not taking my fucking property without a fight. Okay, look, I know that I've dropped a few more F-bombs than even usual, but if you don't see that the devout following that the Davos WEF crowd is attracting, it's really time that you opened your eyes. What do you think? Will you let these Klaus Schwab disciples feed you bugs and fake meat, give you brain-reading implants, take away everything that you own, and make you piss sitting down? Or will you be a man, stand up, go take a leak, and defend your rights? And women, that applies to you too, other than maybe the peeing part. Let me know in the comments below. And remember, peaceful resistance is not futile. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click the link in the description and subscribe right now so that every week you get the inside scoop on the latest infringements and wins in your fight for more freedom and more liberty. If you enjoyed this edition of Renegade News, please hit the like or the share button. We would really appreciate it.